Welcome back to another episode of The Voices of Business, a Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce podcast. It's good to be with you. I'm your host, Joshua Maddux, joined today by my co-host, Corey Nathan. Good to have you, Corey.
Hey, Joshua. Nice to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So The Voices of Business is where we talk with business owners and leaders here in the Santa Clarita Valley. We talk about leadership, management, life, and really wherever the spirit takes us. Please make sure to subscribe, tell a friend, give us a good rating and review. It really helps more people join in on the conversation like the one we're having today with Rachel Cosgrove. Rachel is the co-owner and operator of Results Fitness, a local gym here in Santa Clarita that has been named among the top 10 gyms in the U.S. by Men's Health, featured in Women's Health, BBC America, and a lot more. Awesome. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
It's nice to see you, Rachel. Yeah.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. So you've really built a truly impactful business over the past, and you guys just celebrated 25 years. Is that correct?
We sure did. Yes. 25 years in business.
Which is
so crazy.
It's wild to
a long
achieve.
time.
Yeah. It's wild to achieve that, which is awesome.
A lot of marriages don't last that long.
A lot of marriages don't. I know. And the crazy thing is we have clients that have been with us since the beginning. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
You haven't killed them off
the journey
yet.
that it, right. Yeah. No, they're all just getting fitter and stronger and
awesome.
harder to kill.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
It's good. It's good to always see the success story of that, long term on this side of it. But let's rewind a little bit. Before the business, let's get to know you a little bit better. So where did you grow up? Are you a transplant? You native Santa Clarita?
I am a native Santa Claritian. I grew up here. My parents moved here before I was turned one. So I literally was in the same house in Happy Valley since I was 1 year old, and I grew up going to Peachland Elementary, Placerita Junior High, Hart High School. So yeah, I've been I've been in. It wasn't Santa Clarita at the time, actually. It was City of Santa Clarita came around later. But I was born and grew up. I wasn't born in Santa Clarita, but did move here shortly after and spent my childhood here.
And then from there, I saw UC Santa Barbara. So not too far, at least to start off your education.
Yeah, so I went to UCSB, got my degree in physiology with an emphasis in exercise and health. And yeah, close enough that I could come home and do laundry, but far enough that that I was living away from home and got to be in Santa Barbara, which was an amazing place to go to school.
So it sounds like you had a passion for health and fitness, physiology as a major pretty early on. Or was that something that you kind of discovered when you were in undergrad?
Yeah, my dad actually took me to the gym growing up. So we would ride our bikes over to the Santa Clarita Athletic Club, it's not that anymore, but we would ride our bikes over every summer, every morning, hit the gym. And so that's where I started to fall in love with fitness. And so my dad introduced me. And so I've been going to the gym, learning about everything from, early on, I was doing lots of light weights with lots of repetitions. And I started to learn about strength training and really, how that could really make a difference for the way I felt and the way that I looked, and started to get more and more into strength training. And so I was also a dancer. I grew up with a dance background. So that was really where my passion also started. So I wanted to, really look and feel the best I could as a dancer. And so I had the passion of dance and the passion of fitness, and then decided to head off to school to get my degree in physiology.
What kind of dance were you doing?
Tap, jazz, ballet. So I grew up going to Dance Studio 84. I'm going to give all the plugs for all the businesses in town here. I know Carla's still there. I think she's probably had that business for over 25 years. So yeah, I grew up, going to dance competitions, local dance studio here, and that was part of my life and part of who I am still.
So you're still dancing?
I do like to go take class every once in a while. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, I know it's always interesting to see where the business trajectory comes from and stuff. And there's definitely a difference in someone who, like yourself, who went to school for what you're doing. You got a degree in it. So that's obviously something that, like, you know, dance has been a passion, fitness has been a passion. Was there something early on, growing up that you looked at and said, this is what I want to do? I want to be in fitness. I want to be, own a gym or, any of that.
No, the journey kind of took its own path. I actually really was passionate about dancing, and I moved to New York City after college to pursue that. So I had a scholarship at a dance studio in New York City, and that's what took me to New York City. And so I was auditioning and I was dancing, and then I was working as a personal trainer. The degree in physiology, I always had a fascination with the human body. I definitely I think the human body is an amazing machine. I, love being able to see what, what you can do, what's possible. And especially as I age, to be able to see, as you put demands on your body and be able to get stronger, get fitter, get healthier, and that there really is no limit to what you can do. And it's just, I really am fascinated with the human body and always have been. So on my path, I ended up heading off after got my degree in physiology, had been working as, doing spin classes and a couple gyms through college, and then headed off to New York City to pursue my other passion of dance, and got had a scholarship at a dance studio, was doing auditioning, and was personal training. So that's where I really started my personal training career, was in New York City, and got to work with and meet other personal trainers, including my husband, Alan Cosgrove, who was there from Scotland. And so that's where we ended up crossing our paths and starting to really merge together to figure out, how we could, now our mission to change the way fitness is done, to really, offer something that was different than what was out there.
So I got to ask you about New York. Where were you living in the city, or were you living in Brooklyn, or where?
Yep.
Living in the city?
In Manhattan.
Where in the city were you?
I live. So started out, I moved, how many times did I move? It was like, I started off on the Upper West Side, then I was in Midtown, and then ended up on the Upper East Side.
Oh, okay.
So I
You got a taste of a few different
around.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And then audition-wise, were you auditioning
Yeah.
for dance companies, or going like Broadway, off-Broadway route, or what?
Broadway, off-Broadway route. Yeah, I did end up in one off-Broadway show.
Oh, wow.
But man, it's competitive
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Were you a triple
So,
threat?
yeah,
Were you
it was
studying acting and voice as well, or?
I was a dancer, and I could act, and I could sing. I wasn't a great singer, but definitely started to realize, yeah, you definitely need to be a triple threat when you're in New York City. So I over time started to really get more and more into personal training, and realized that was the
Yeah.
path that made more sense for me. I still love dance, and I still, but definitely it's a cutthroat world out there. When you get in New York, it's a whole different ball game.
It's funny, because I was in the New York theater scene in my youth. And then,
Oh, wow.
I had some successes, but then when I was with actually, I ended up out here, and I was with this really great ensemble. We did some wonderful classical theater, from Chekhov to Shakespeare to Tennessee Williams to Ibsen. It was just wonderful, and there were some really talented folks, dedicated folks in that. But our mentor, it was the lady who took over Stella Adler's theater after Stella passed away in the early 90s, this wonderful woman named Joanne Linville. And Joanne at one point said to me, Corey, I love you. I think you're such a talented producer. I'm like, damn it, not an actor. Like, no, she said, you're a great producer. So anyway, but I loved New York. I spent a lot of time, actually. I think you'd appreciate this. And I'm guessing you spent some time in this building too. I basically grew up at this place at 890 Broadway, where American Ballet Theater rehearsed. They were on the second floor, but on the third floor, there was often like you could catch Twyla Tharp choreographing her next thing. But I basically grew up there. I have such an affinity for those days.
It's an incredible place. Yeah, we love it, and we love going back to visit. It's such a cool city.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely love the New York City energy.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
So you're in New York, obviously found,
So I'm in New York.
the direction of your passion, met your now husband. What was that next step? What led you back to Santa Clarita? Obviously you're, all the way across the country. But what led you back?
Yeah, so I am a California girl at heart. New York is awesome, and I love it. I love visiting, but it is a hard place to live. Definitely very expensive, and we lived in like a 5-floor walk-up, railroad apartment they call it, that costs, way too much money. So it was just a hard. It was, there was a point after 2 years. I was there 2 years, and just I was, doing what I could to make ends meet, but started to get to a point where I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to go back to California. We ended up, Alan went home to Scotland. I came home to California, and we did a long distance relationship for a period of time. And I flew there, he flew here. And then we were trying to figure out where we wanted to live. Did we want to, were we going to live in Scotland, or were we going to live in California? And so, he was, interviewing for some different jobs in Scotland. And at the end of the day, we decided, with fitness, California was the place to be. And so, after getting engaged, decided to move to California and start our careers there. So yeah, brought him back to this nice town of Santa Clarita, and that's where we ended up settling in.
Y'all miss does he miss Scotland? Y'all get to get back there?
We go at least once a year, if not twice a year. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. He definitely doesn't miss the weather. He loves the sunshine. So that's the good part is, yeah, he does enjoy California. So, and the cool part, yeah, when we have our family that come and visit us, California is always a fun place to come visit. But we do get to go there at least once or twice a year to go visit with his family and see Scotland, which is an amazing place.
Good.
Yeah.
So you guys are back in Santa Clarita, decide that, you're going to be here. What was the inspiration then to sort of create something different in the fitness world? Obviously, as you're talking, there's a lot of passion around it and stuff, but what was that inspiration and what did that path look like?
So we were working at a number of different gyms as personal trainers, and really were frustrated. We were frustrated with the standard in the industry. We were frustrated with the professionalism. We were frustrated with, just feeling like we weren't confident even with, if we weren't going to be there handing our clients over to one of the other trainers, because everybody, personal training's always been like way back in the day. It was, really just kind of like a side job. Like people did it as, do this until you figure out what you're really going to be when you grow up. And so for us, we really wanted to pave the way of making a career in this industry. Like we feel like what we do is very important, and that it should be seen as, part of everybody's healthcare team. Like everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs somebody who's helping them to make sure that they know what they're doing when it comes to their fitness and their strength training. And, I think a lot of people end up, doing generic programs or trying to figure it out themselves. But having an expert in your corner, you're being proactive with making sure you're not going to end up injured, making sure you're going to get stronger, making sure you're going to progress over time. And so we've just always felt really passionate about creating something that, is going to be a career for people. And so when we opened Results Fitness, that was our, part of what we wanted to do. We were kind of taking all of our frustrations from all the different gyms we worked at and, what we didn't like about being a personal trainer at the different places we were working, and wanted to open a place that, eliminate all those frustrations. Of course, opening a business, you have a whole new list of frustrations, but that's part of running a business. And so, I got the doors open, and, really that was our passion, was not only to change the way fitness is done for our clients and give them a different experience. A lot of people do have negative experiences when they go to gyms. Maybe they feel intimidated. Maybe, they don't, not great customer service, or, just have never really enjoyed going to the gym. And so we really wanted to create a different experience for our clients, but we also wanted to create a different experience for our coaches. And so as we built a team, we really wanted it to be a place where our team could have a career. And so our coaches are all full-time. They have benefits, they have health insurance, they have retirement. So it's something that, in our industry, then you didn't really see that. Like we never had that opportunity. And so we wanted to create that in our space to be able to give people who are serious about this as a career, a way, a path to really make a career, support their family, and and do something that we feel is really important.
I have a couple follow-up questions here. One is, as you speak about your expertise as a trainer, I'm hearing you have you're wearing two hats at the same time, generally speaking. One is from that expertise as a trainer, wellness. But two is I'm hearing at least hints of someone, you're talking about creating a place and creating an experience. That's something that someone with more of a vision, dare I say, an entrepreneur thinks that way, not just someone who's a technician, if you will, in their particular area of expertise. Have you always thought that way in terms of being both expert in your field as well as someone who thinks more broadly like a business owner, an entrepreneur does? Or is that something that you've learned along the way?
I do think I've always had the entrepreneur spirit. My parents were entrepreneurs growing up, so I did grow up in a household where entrepreneurship is part of, my childhood and part of growing up. And so I always have had that passion and drive to, to be my own boss, to create my own thing. As we opened the gym, I don't think, we truly understood what we wanted to create until you start to get in and start to create it and really, see the magic that starts to happen as you build a community. And like I mentioned, we have clients that have been with us for 25 years. And when you have the threads of those relationships in your gym, like when a new client comes in now and they meet other clients who have been there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's like a whole different feeling, as far as the community goes. Like we just had a big 25-year anniversary celebration, and it was like a big, everybody just had a blast together. And it's part of, I think people join, they think they're joining a gym, but then they start to realize they actually now are part of a community. They're part of, a supportive place that is, becomes a, part of their, you guys have heard the third place analogy, right? Where it's like you have work, home, and then there's your third place. I know like Starbucks always talked about this, that they wanted to become everybody's third place, so that's what we want to become is, there's work, there's home, and then your third place is Results Fitness, where you get to come, you get to decompress, you get to do something good for yourself, you get to see your friends. You leave feeling better than you did when you walked in. And so that's really what it's all about. And I don't know, I can't say that we knew what we were creating when we opened the doors of Results Fitness. We were just really frustrated with where we were and wanted to, do something different. And as we set out on that path and started to, take action steps to create something, we learned, a lot of stuff the hard way. We didn't know how to run a business. My dad always told me to go to school for business. He's like, get your degree in business, because he was an entrepreneur, and he didn't have a degree in business, and he was like, get your degree in business. And I'm like, that's so boring. I don't want to do that. And then of course, got my degree in physiology, opened the gym, and I'm like, oh man, I should have got my degree in business. Like, how does this work? So we had to figure a lot of it out, making mistakes and learning how to market, learning how to build a team, learning how to manage, learning how to create a vision like you're talking about. And I think, as you, I have always been a journaler. I have always been, thought like a big picture. I was, moving to New York City was, that was following a dream, of being a dancer on Broadway. So I have always been a big dreamer, and I've never been scared to take action and follow through with, what nudges I feel like I need to move forward with. And so I think as we opened the gym, it was really just listening to our intuition, listening to what we felt would be the next step for us. And then as the years have gone by, just continually looking for how can we provide more? How can we create a better place? How can we be even better than we are? How can we really change the way fitness is done?
It's interesting because it sounds to me like you've, I don't know if you've ever read the book Blue Ocean Strategies, but the way that you envision Results Fitness, you're not necessarily competing with other trainers or other gyms. In a way, you're kind of competing with Starbucks, the third place.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really does stand out about Results is you've been talking about your team, is that you don't have, maybe this is the story of some of your trainers, but my experience there, everybody's a badass. Like, there are some places where you go in and like, oh, this guy needed a part-time job in high school and then got a certification, and he's just, I don't know. He's like,
Right.
but like every person you encounter at Results is a freaking badass at what they do. And everybody has a little something different that they bring to the party, so how were you able to build such a remarkable team that way?
Yeah, I mean, your people that makes everything in your business. So I consider myself a people collector. I'm always looking for good people. So, I think as a business owner, that's something we have to do. We have to always be, networking. We have to always be out, meeting people, looking for good people to add to our team. And so If I meet somebody who it would be a good fit, and it's really a core value fit. So we have core values in place that we, abide by, that are who we are. And that's like number one is, does this person have our core values? And so, one of those core values is constantly learning and improving. And if you're not the type of person who loves to learn, loves to improve, if you're not a high performer, you're not going to be a good fit for our team. And so looking for those people that are high performers, that are going to help us to elevate our team, and when I find those people, that's where, it's really just making sure you're constantly looking for those people. I think a lot of people wait until they're desperate and they need somebody, and then they end up hiring people that, maybe aren't a good fit, maybe aren't a good culture fit, aren't a good core value fit. And then, it's like, and yeah, like a lot of gyms, the trainers do tend to be young, still figuring out, what they're doing in their life. A lot of our trainers have degrees. So they graduated from CSUN, or Master's College actually has a degree now in kinesiology. So we have a couple of trainers from Master's College as well. So, CSUN and Master's College, we have an internship program. So we invite which we're actually about to start one coming up here. So when they graduate, we get to invite them to come do our internship for 6 weeks. So they actually spend 6 weeks with us learning and, really being a part of, shadowing. And so it's not like, day one, we hand them a client. Like, they have a degree, they have a certification, and then we still take 6 weeks to really, help them to learn our philosophies and how we do things, and, really help them to become the best coach they can before we'll have them work with one of our clients.
That's good.
And we work as a team. So that's the other thing you don't see at a lot of gyms, is a team environment where our, veteran trainers who've been with us 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, we've had trainers with us 16 years, which is unheard of. We'll bring up the new, when we bring somebody new on board, that's part of the culture, is they mentor them. And so it's like, as a team, we all want to help each other to get better, and we all want to keep elevating each other. And so, because that's only going to, help all of our clients, right? And so it makes all of us look better if everybody on the team is performing at a high level.
I think from a team building perspective, I know for my company over the years, we've had interns from COC or Masters or other schools as well. And it keeps your, keeps your team sharp, because they are constantly having to think through, like, how does this function? How do I train someone on this? What is our process? Right. And your team may know the process, but knowing a process and teaching a process are two very different functions. And if someone knows a process and can teach the process, the fact that they're, living and breathing it, and that's a very different element than, they read the employee manual when they got hired 6 years ago. Those are very different things. And that's also where, those who are then training, they take such a higher appreciation for some of that stuff, and such higher ownership in, training the next generation type aspect. And I know for my company, we've literally had interns that have asked questions. They're like, why do you do it that way? And it's like, oh, well, we do it that way because this is the function. And they're like, wouldn't doing it this way be better? And it's like, oh, dang it. Okay. Yeah, you're right. We need to think of how we're doing that now. Crap. Okay. And which is good. Like, it's good to question that and think through, what you're doing as a business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And having that culture of, that it's okay to bring new ideas to the table, and, definitely that's how we all get better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think, it's just, that's who Alan and I are. Like, we only want to be around people that are learning, improving. And, so I think it's important as a business owner to decide who you're going to spend a lot of time with these people. And these are, this is your team. This is who's representing you. So making sure you really have a good hiring process in place, and, that you really vet the people before you bring them on board.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. So obviously the local community, has shaped your business. You guys have sort of shaped, especially downtown Newhall. I know I'll go by Henry's Coffee in the morning sometimes, and I'll see some people, running the building and doing some outside exercises and stuff. And in your sort of experience there, like, are there key leaders or businesses that you would say in Santa Clarita were, pivotal to your guys' growth or helped shaped your growth, or people that you guys, collaborate with or any of that?
Yeah, we have a lot of really great partnerships, and Egg Plantation across the street has been one of our big partnerships. They opened just after we did, so they're actually coming up on their 25-year anniversary as well. And we've always had a really great relationship with them. They, like, if you have breakfast at Egg Plantation and you open up your bill, you'll see a Results Fitness flyer in there, and then they all come to Results Fitness and work out. And so I think I'm always looking for other businesses that want to have that, where we can co-promote each other, where we all go, and we just had our anniversary party at the Egg Plantation on Friday night. So, like, that's, it's just like, that's a great place. Like, we have a great relationship. And so I would say, definitely we've been growing our businesses, over the 25 years together. So that's been a lot of fun to have that partnership, right across the street from us. Obviously our landlords, like, our, Maria of Maria's Deli is our landlord. So, I don't know how many people know that. If you know Maria's Deli, it's no longer there.
Yeah.
But growing up here, being in high school, like, Maria's Deli was one of the staples of Santa Clarita, and so I love Maria. I think she's an amazing woman, and her husband built the building. So he actually built the Godfather Plaza, which is where Results Fitness is located.
Wow.
And they gave us a chance. We were two kids with no money. We had, like, we know nothing about running a business. And, they gave us, I still look back and I'm like, how did they ever let us, like, sign that lease and do this? Like, so, they gave us a chance. Yes, they could be difficult now and then, but, they've definitely been a crucial piece of, giving us that opportunity to be able to start a business when we really, at the time, if you looked at, who we were and what we had, we really, probably weren't people. I think, definitely they gave us a chance. So definitely appreciate the Simeones, Maria Simeone, who is our landlord. And so that, definitely was a big, crucial part of, our growth. And now it's been so much fun to see, when we opened 25 years ago, Main Street was not Main Street, right? So it was definitely a different neighborhood than it is now. And so all of the new businesses, all of the, everything, it's just so cool that we're now the cool spot in town. And yeah, we've been there since well before. But building relationships with all of these businesses that are in, Old Town Newhall, it's really cool to see so many small businesses and small business owners. And, we're part of the Old Town Newhall Association, and, go to the meetings every month and connect with all of the other business owners, and just all working together to brainstorm and, okay, how do we, come up with ideas to promote each other? Like, we're working with Forming Content is a clothing store that's, right on Main Street, right over by the Lemley Theater. And we do a promotion with them, like, twice a year. We do a drop 2 sizes challenge. And at the end of the drop 2 sizes challenge, we finish with a gift certificate at Forming Content and a big party over there. And so finding ways to just, like, how can I bring my clients into your store, and how can we help promote each other, and really, that cross promotion, I think, in those business relationships with, finding ways that you can support and show up for your fellow business owners, then, the more you give, the more you get, right? So it's really, it's a great thing to have so many small business owners in that area now.
So 25 years is a really good run. Just describing the evolution of downtown Newhall, but your business, for sure. I don't know if I can necessarily ask you to project what the next 25 years hold in the future. But even if we look at the last 5 years, some of the things that we've all had to endure and persist through. Curious what, as you look down the road, whether it's a year, 3 years, 5 years, or if you want to take a stab at 25 years, curious what you see down the road for Results Fitness. What's the next stage of evolution for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been a month of reflection with our 25th anniversary. And for me, I was 25 years old when we opened. So I turned 50 this year. So this is a big year for me. I'm turning 50. My business is turning 25. It's kind of like one of those years of, like, okay, what how did all that time go by, right? And here we are 25 years into our business, and we still love it. We still love it. We're not done. Alan and I still love being in the gym, and the last 5 years have been tough. We were shut down an entire year, so they did close the gym industry for an entire year. And so we have another company which we help coach and consult other gym owners. So we do business coaching for other gym owners. So Results Fitness University, which we actually we had a location right across the street from the gym, Results Fitness, if in the yellow Victorian buildings, second floor, used to be Toy Attic back in the day. That we actually rented that out for 5 years. We actually signed the lease on that in 2019 because we held live events where gym owners come out to spend a couple days with us, see our mothership, and see it in the works, and then learn from us, and then we do a seminar. So obviously, we couldn't do live events either. So that business also was changed dramatically. So we no longer, we went ahead and let that lease go at the end of the 5 years because we weren't able to actually do what we wanted to do with it. And so now we still have live events. We just have them less often, and we have them down at Heart and Main. So the cool part is we're in the area, and we get to, take all of our gym owners when they fly. They're actually flying out next week. So we have about 40 gym owners from all over the country that are flying into Santa Clarita to, be here and see Results Fitness and work out with us and see what we do at the gym. And then we're spending 2 full days at Heart and Main where we deep dive into everything we do to run our business. And so we teach new gym owners how to do it. And so that's our other business and our other passion. So it's taken us until this year to get our gym back to where it was pre-COVID.
Wow.
So it's taken 5 years. I did not think it would take that long, but it did. So I was sitting in the manager seat in Results Fitness for the last 5 years. We had, pretty much gotten the gym to where we were pretty hands off. So we were back in it. And the fun part was for Alan and I getting back in it, we were able to peel back some of the layers. We were able to go, what do we like? What do we not like? Alan's back on the floor coaching again. He loves coaching. I got to be in the manager seat for a while. I just got our new manager hired. So he's now running the show and he's doing a great job. And so now it's really shifting back to changing the way fitness is done all over the world. And that's helping these other gym owners to, I hate when our clients move somewhere, which we've had this happen a lot. They move to another state, another town, and they cannot find a gym that is anywhere close to what they experienced at Results Fitness. And so that's our passion is that this shouldn't be, the exception. People should be able to find a gym where they feel comfortable. They feel like they're going to get the best, and so that's really our passion is to help, other gym owners to create a space that is similar to what we've done at Results Fitness. To be able to recommend, if our client's moving somewhere or if they have family members somewhere, I can say, oh, well, there's this gym there that, is doing a great job. So that's our other side of our company. And I think really where now that we've got the gym back to where, we need to be, and we can really shift our focus to continuing to help other gym owners to keep growing. Because I truly believe what we do is, we're part of the solution to when they shut down gyms. I was like, no, we need to be, we need to be open. Our people need us to stay strong, to stay healthy, to stay mentally strong. Right. And so I'm it told us that we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do because people don't take us seriously. People don't realize the power that, we provide to our clients, the place we are for our clients, that we are the place where they come to reset. They come to handle everything else going on outside of our 4 walls. And so really, that's the passion, that's the vision, that's where we're going, is how do we get that in as many places as possible around the world so that people have that to be able to check into their own Results Fitness and reset and handle, the rest of whatever's going on in their life or in the world.
So
That's good.
with that insight and perspective, I'm curious if you were to go back and talk to the 25-year-old you that's just starting out in this, or that the version of you today, that same version of you today, what's some of the wisdom that you might impart? Maybe some habits that you would encourage this person to inhabit, that would give them to say a good chance at success is maybe too simple, but a good chance at having a fulfilling, nurturing, career, a life in this, whether it's as a business owner or in fitness in general and health in general, as well as to develop the resilience one needs in order to get through the difficult times, whether it's a worldwide pandemic or, like when you've been around long enough to remember what 2008 and 2009 were like, economic downturns. And
Yeah, the year after we opened was
yeah,
9/11.
yeah.
So, 2001, because we opened in 2000. So 2001 was 9/11. And then Alan had cancer at 4 years into opening
Oh,
our
wow.
business. So he went through a stem cell transplant. So we've faced a few obstacles, and definitely I've learned over the years how to handle those obstacles. Yeah, when the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, let's figure this out. And I think that's, I think thinking back to the 25-year-old me, I think, at that time, you stress over the little things, you stress out over, like looking back, the stuff that I would stress out about, or that, I would, get overwhelmed with, or, obviously, money, when you first open your business, lots of money fights and, trying to all of that stuff. And then like you start to, over the years now, obviously 25 years later, looking back, perspective, right? Like, okay, there's like, especially going through the things we've been through, whether it be, Alan fighting for his life, having cancer, and, that knocking you into perspective, of course, of, who really cares, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, like realizing that, what, don't stress the small stuff. I think there's a book written about, right? Don't sweat the small
Yeah.
stuff. But I think really, that's the big thing is everything, there is a solution to everything. There is a way through everything. I have gotten really good at really listening to my intuition, really taking quiet time in the morning, journaling. If I'm trying to figure something out, like I just have, quiet time of writing and, to land on what is the answer. And I did that a lot during the pandemic, every morning, like, what are we doing? Where are we going? How do we do this? How do we pivot, because it was pivot, doing all kinds of different, new things we had not planned on doing with our business. And so, I think, really learning how to stop, be present, listen to your intuition, listen to what is the next step forward, and not letting yourself go into an overwhelm, a stress ball, which can be so easy to do.
You mentioned journaling a couple times. Did you ever read Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way?
I sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
what
morning pages.
is
Yeah.
that what prompted
Yeah.
you to start the journaling practice?
Yeah, I always journaled. So I had a English teacher at Plantation, Rita, that had us start journaling, and I got into journaling and started to journal, right through high school. And then I did read that book. I think while I was in New York, I read that
Yeah.
book. And about, so that actually kind of honed my journaling even more, because it was about, really just letting your subconscious flow and like not, and so it's just always been a practice that I've done. And I've definitely, if I'm stressed about something or overwhelmed about something, or I'm trying to figure out the answer to something, like I just need some quiet time in the morning with me and my journal, cup of coffee, I'll figure it out. So yeah,
Right.
it's definitely been an ongoing part of my, success, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I read that book. I think it was the first time I read it was maybe 2006. And then shortly thereafter, because I had journaled on and off, but that really helped me get clear on the practice itself, but also the mindset of sort of letting it flow is a good way to put it, the way that you just put it. But just not writing for an audience per se, but writing like
Right.
just, letting it flow is a great way to put
Letting
it.
your mind flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it does for me is at the beginning of the day, it sort of sets the pace of the day as opposed to having the day set the pace on me,
For
especially
sure.
like a lot
Yeah.
of times nowadays, like people, the first thing they do is they check Facebook, Instagram, TikTok or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're off to the races.
Yeah, and even like I've started doing a grateful journal, which for people that don't journal, there's like journals you can get where you just write, 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things good that happened, today, or three things that would make today great, so like it can be as simple as just like you said, setting your day of like intentions,
Yeah.
right? What do I want to get out of
Yeah,
today?
for sure.
It's good. Well, as we wrap things up, I want to like circle back to results fitness specifically for a minute. How would you define like results fitness today for people who are listening? If you've lived in Santa Clarita long enough, you know who results fitness is, where results fitness is, but maybe for someone who doesn't know or doesn't fully understand what you guys are doing, like how would you define results fitness today?
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of people that don't. A lot of people have moved here recently, and we meet people all the time that are like, "Who are you? Where are you? Where are you?" And I'm like, "We've been here 20 years. Like, does any of my marketing work?" No. So, yeah, I think there are a lot of people that don't know who we are, and to realize, we are different than most gyms, and we really are. Yes, you're coming in to join a gym, but when you come in to join, you're going to have an expert coach who's going to sit down with you and listen to you. I mean, when was the last time someone sat and listened to you for an hour and listened to what you want to accomplish, listen to, your history, listen to, everything that, you want about you. You set the goals, you set the pace, you decide, how fast we're going to get this done. And we come up with a plan for you. So we customize a plan for each person that comes in our gym. So it's not a generic one size fits all. That's why we have professional athletes. We have, 70-year-old grandmas. We have you'll come in and you'll see all walks of life in our gym. And it's because every single one of them are on their own customized program. So no matter what, injuries you've had in the past, what, goals you want to accomplish, we're here to meet you where you're at. We're here to, really get to know where are you today? And then let's come up with a plan to step by step get you to where you want to go. And whether that be, get stronger and fitter to be able to keep up with your grandkids, or, like we have a lot of people that have been with us a long time that end up wanting to do obstacle course racing or Spartan races, and, have goals they never thought they would have before. And so we really come up with a customized plan for each person to reach their goals, get stronger, get fitter, and then become a part of our community. And so that's what we found, is that then we become that third place where you do come to not only work out, not only reach your goals, but also just to reset. And, I think for so many people, they handle the rest of their day better because they spent time at Results Fitness, spent an hour at Results Fitness.
So
Nice.
do you want me to ask, do you want me to prompt the turning of the tables here, Joshua?
Go for it.
Yeah. So now this is the part where you get to turn the tables on us and see, do you have any questions for either me or Joshua or both?
About your business?
About anything.
Gosh, I should have thought of this. Should have thought about this. I mean, I know. So Corey, I know you were a member of Results Fitness, and now I think you're working out. So what's your reason for working out? What's your motivation?
I have a lot of motivations. One is I own my own vanity. So I'm a couple of years ahead of
Okay.
you on the lifeline here. And as recently as a year and a half ago, I was 45 pounds heavier than I am now. Now, a lot of that was
Wow.
tied into, not to get too deep into it, but a lot of that was tied into, I've struggled with mental health, mental illness for most of my life.
Mhm.
So part of that was just an outward reflection of some struggles that, a pretty long season that I was
Sure.
going through. So for me, I do, for some of us, the mental part of the game is more of a dogfight, especially at certain times. So we really need to develop an entire arsenal to fight this thing. So for me, exercising, even if I could do nothing other than just go for a walk, it's definitely one of the arrows in my quiver. So that's why I do it. I also, when I started shedding weight, it was a long journey, losing that 40, 45 pounds. And then as I was losing the weight, I was able to actually do a pull-up, and then 2, and then 6, and then, and that was pretty cool too. And
Yeah.
just being able to feel, not feel, I'm kind of joking about the vanity part of it. That's kind of cool, like fitting into clothes that I wasn't able to fit into. That
Sure.
part of it is kind of like a rush in a way. But really what it is feeling good, knowing that I can climb a go up a flight of stairs and not even have to think about it.
Yeah.
And the overall health stuff, like I was able to get off of my blood pressure medication, so that's really cool. Yeah,
Congratulations. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So just being able,
Yeah, I think so many people don't realize it's so much more than, just vanity, right? And I know, vanity is important, but there is the mental health aspect of it, I think. And I think as business owners, I don't, I don't know how I would function if I didn't, hit my workout first.
yeah,
Like, I am so much more level-headed. I'm so much more, it's just like, it's a part of, I think, for business owners, if you don't carve out that time to get your workout in, you're not going to be bringing your best to your team, to your clients, to your business, right? And to your, to your family and to the rest of your life as well. But that's
yeah,
awesome. Congratulations. 45 pounds is
yeah.
awesome.
Feeling good, feeling good.
It's good.
What about you, Joshua? How would you
Yeah.
do you get to exercise, or is it chasing around your little kids?
That's what I was gonna say. Most of my
Living.
we've been here in this house for 4 years. We re-landscaped the front yard, backyard, garden, the office I'm in, I built. So between having two little ones and a fairly large slew of projects over the past, few years, it's like my workout routine is moving, a 80-pound wheelbarrow full of rocks from the front yard to the backyard. Um, not the traditional set of weights, but it's definitely been something for me over the past few years. Like, I sit in front of a computer screen 8+ hours a day. And the last thing I want to do, is continue doing that at the end of the day. So having,
I would bet though, at the very
outdoor
least,
space.
Rachel could come in and teach you how to properly lift that wheelbarrow full of rocks, right?
So, well, I will say,
Did you hurt yourself?
I was digging a hole in the front yard for a tree, and don't take a post hole digger and throw it down into a hole that is deep enough you have to like lean over slightly. It found a rock and came back up.
Oh,
And so I had both ends of the post hole digger shovel hit me in the chest and knocked the wind
Oh,
out of me,
geez.
and
Oof.
ended up going to the hospital for x-rays because
oh,
I was
Oh my gosh.
super sore for a few days. Went to my chiropractor. My chiropractor was like, I'm not touching you. Go to the hospital and get x-rays, because he's like, I don't know if you cracked something or what. He's like, but I'm not putting pressure on your back to move anything around. So thankfully it was all just bruising. But yeah, there's definitely times where I've done one or two of those and I'm like, yep, that was the wrong way to do that. But
See, the gym is a much safer place to get your
yeah,
workout done.
oh
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, there's yeah. So awesome.
Well,
Well, that's awesome.
before we go, Rachel,
Okay.
how can folks follow
Mhm.
you, find more information about Results Fitness and just all the great, and you're an author, like you're just doing so much great work. So all the great work you're doing, how can folks find you and follow you?
Sure. So I am really active on Instagram. So rachelcosgrove.co. So if you're interested in, following me and connecting with me, definitely jump on my Instagram. And then our gym is Results Fitness. So our website is results-fitness.com. And we also have an Instagram for that as well, Results Fitness SCV. So definitely follow us at Results Fitness SCV. And would love to connect with anybody who's interested in what we do and who we are. And so jump on any of those. And if you are interested in the gym, results-fitness.com, you can, we have, sign up there for a free, to do a free strategy session with one of our coaches. So yeah.
That's great. I just followed you. You got a new follower today.
Hey. Oh, and then, we have an all natural shake cafe at the gym. So I think a lot of people don't know that. So if you're downtown Newhall and you're just looking for a healthy, want something healthy, breakfast, lunch, meal replacement, we make them to order. So you can get them however you want them, but it's, all fruit puree, or we can, do almond milk, or we can do them vegan. So just, depending on what you're looking for, come get your protein shakes. So and we even have people, maybe you work out at home or work out someplace else, but you want to get a good, post-workout shake, swing on by. So come on by and grab a shake at Results Fitness. It's an easy way to pop in and just see what we do and see who we are, and grab a shake, and they're delicious. So you might get hooked.
Good stuff.
Nice.
You want to
Nice.
land this plane, Joshua?
As always, yes. As always, please follow, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us, The Voices, at The Voices of Business on social media. I am Joshua Maddux on LinkedIn and many of the other spots. You can find Corey S. Nathan on Instagram and LinkedIn and all of those. We'd love to have you or other local business leaders join in on the conversation. Thanks for listening. And as always, give us a follow, rate, or review. And we'll see you next time on The Voices of Business.